Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to our first wrap up of the year. I have decided that I am gonna do this every couple months. I'm not gonna do this every single month because, for instance, January I read one book. So that would have been quite a video, a wrap up. To do only a wrap up for one book, it would have been 5 minutes. So I'm only going to do this every couple months. I'm also not doing TBRs anymore because we're doing the Read It or Unhaul It / reading vlog videos. So I won't be doing TBRs anymore, but we will be doing wrap ups still, and it'll be every couple months. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that, but that is what I've decided. So this is your wrap up for January and February. I read 5 books within that time. Here they are. We had a lot of really good books for this first couple months of the year. I had a couple really high ratings, and when I tell you I'm excited to share, I am excited to share. So we're gonna get right into it. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy this video, please feel free to subscribe and like and comment. And let me know what your favorite book was that I read so far, and what your favorite book is that you've read so far this year. I would love to know. Let's get into what books I read and what I felt about them. A little tiny bit of review. So let's go ahead and get started. First book that I read this year was Hexed by Emily McIntyre. This just came out, actually. Let me see when this came out. This came out November 5th of last year, so I'm a little behind. Not gonna lie, but I needed a book to start the year that was just kind of no brain, that I know I would enjoy and that I know what I would read, because I have been dealing with the slump since November, to be honest. I just needed a book that I was going to devour, and I will eat up an Emily McIntyre book. I did a reading vlog over this. If you haven't watched that already, please feel free to go watch that. It was my first Read It or Unhaul It video. This was the first book that I read. This book is basically about Vanessa and Enzo. Vanessa is like a lackey for her uncle. Vanessa is this is like a Little Mermaid retelling. Vanessa is supposed to be Ursula and Enzo is supposed to be Eric. Vanessa works for her uncle, who's supposed to be King Trident. She works for him as like a mercenary almost, I guess is what you could say, an assassin. And she, wants to make her uncle proud. She does all these things just to make him proud because she lost her mom a really long time ago. She has never felt like she's belonged anywhere. She doesn't feel like she belongs in the family. And then one day she goes to check up on her cousin, Ariel. Arya is her cousin. She goes to check up on her, and in the meantime of checking up on her, they find Enzo laying on the side of a lake. I can't really tell if it's like a lake or yeah, they're in New York, so it's like the bay, I guess. They find him laying there, and Vanessa wants to save him for some reason. She doesn't really know why. And she tells Arya that she needs to be the one that's there when he wakes up, because Vanessa can't be known to be there, I guess, because of her job for her uncle. So short story is Enzo wakes up, Arya's there, they get engaged, and this book is basically about how Vanessa and Enzo are fighting their attraction for each other. That's the basic premise of the story. I really enjoyed this. I did give it a 3.5 star. I feel like this series is average for me, like a 3.5 to 4 star range. I don't remember what I rated Scarred. Okay, I rated Scarred 4 stars. I don't think I reviewed it. Yeah, this was before my time of reviews, but I rated Scarred 4 stars. So I think that the Never After series for me is mid 3, low 4s. I enjoy these books. The past couple, because I think before this was Crossed. Yeah, Crossed was before this. I feel like the past couple of these have been very long, and I feel like that has been my downfall with them, is that they are very, very long. I don't know. Scarred, I feel like, is the perfect length for me. It's not over 400 pages. This one is almost 600. Well, it's a little over 5. These are just too long for me. I don't know. It's they're too long for me, but also there's not enough. I don't know what that says about me, but there were things that were happening in this book that weren't satisfying to my heart. Like, conflict would come up and then it would be resolved so fast, or conflict would come up and like the reaction to the conflict wasn't what I wanted it to be, or I guess like the third act breakup for me wasn't like enough. I don't know. Like, things happened in this book that I was just kind of like, I need a little bit more. But some things that I really loved about this book for sure was the main characters in this book, Enzo and Vanessa, are badass. They are so badass. Vanessa is like just the baddest bitch I've ever seen. She really does not care what people think about her, and I think that that's like such a beautiful quality to have in a main female character. She also is so confident in her skills and her abilities for what her uncle asks her to do, that even when Enzo kind of challenges her, she knows that like she can handle herself, you know what I mean? And Enzo is very confident in her as well. He's not used to being around people like her or women like her, but he is very confident in her ability to take care of herself. Their tension is so nice, and like you could cut it with a butter knife. Like, that's how thick their tension is. I don't know, this book was really good. I rated 3.5. It was a good book to start the year off with. It got me out of my slump. I really love Emily McIntyre's writing, and I can't wait to read more of her things. I don't know, I think this is like the last book in this like series. I'm not sure, but it was a good one regardless. So 3.5 for Hexed, my first and only book in the month of January. So now we're in February, and I read 4 books in the month of February, and that started off with another author that I know I can just eat up and devour. Another author that I know if I'm in a book slump, I can read her and I will no longer be in a book slump. And that author is Elsie Silver. I finally picked up Wild Love. My sister got me this for Christmas, I think. So I finally picked up Wild Love. This is the Rose Hill Ranch series. This is the series after Chestnut Springs. And I love this book. I rated this book 4.25. This isn't my favorite out of like the Elsie verse that I've read so far, but it's definitely a good one. Ford is just chef's kiss. I feel like Elsie's main male characters are so good. They're so conscious of their partners. They're so just like in tune with themselves. They obviously have their faults. I think every good book character is going to have a fault that they work to get over, but I feel like Elsie has such a good way of writing such respectful men that don't demean their partner, if that makes sense. Because there are the type of men that are like, you know, I will do anything for my woman, but my woman will need to stay like on her level, you know what I mean? But Elsie's men really let their women thrive, and I think that that's something that I love in these types of books. Ford and Rosie, I think, are like the perfect couple. They bicker, they fight. They didn't even know that they had any emotion towards each other besides hate. They were so just like clouded by the thought that the other hated them that they didn't notice that they just like actually loved each other so deeply. And the way that Ford is just so supportive of Rosie and is so down bad almost for Rosie, he will go literally to fight for her. And that is something that Rosie, I think, needed. She needed somebody who, no questions asked, would drop everything and like literally dismantle her old boss. You know what I mean? Like, he legit said, they hurt you, I'm gonna make sure they're hurt, and like the way that they care about the most. And while I think that he overstepped a boundary in this book, I do think that they overcame it so beautifully. And Rosie is just such a loving person, but has been loving the wrong people. And I think her deciding to love Ford was the right move. It truly was. And the way that they both were just so open and accepting to the twist in this book, I don't know if it says, yeah. So on the description, it says that a girl pops up just one day when he's trying to start his life over and create his new path, and is like, hey dude, I'm your daughter, you did some stuff back in the day and now I'm here, that I am a product of me and I need your help. The way that he was so open and accepting, like, of course, no questions asked, like, you're mine and I'm gonna protect you. He is the same way with Rosie, and Rosie is so open and loving to his daughter as well. I don't know, they're just so beautiful together, and I definitely want to reread. I want to reread all of Elsie's books and actually like annotate and like tab them, because the way that she writes is just so, it's just so good. It's so beautiful. And the men in these books is why I will probably be single for the rest of my life, because no man will ever amount to an Elsie Silverman. It's just, that's all I'm gonna say. If I need to move to Canada, is this how the men in Canada are? Like, are men in Calgary like this? Because this sounds great. This, Rhett, Theo, all of them, every single character that Elsie writes, sign me the frick up, please. Please. But 4.25 for Wild Love. So excited. I need to read the rest of the series. And yeah, I love Elsie so much. The next book that I picked up, sticking with the authors that I know that I'm gonna love and that I know that I'm gonna read, is Miss Stephanie Archer. And I read The Wingman by Stephanie Archer. This is the Vancouver Storm series. This is like is this the third one? I think this is the third one. This is the third book in the Vancouver Storm series. The first one is Behind the Net, and then it's The Fake Out. I adored The Fake Out so much. I think that's probably my favorite book in this series. This one is still really good. I ended up rating it a 4 stars. I genuinely think that hockey romances are like one of my top genre for books. I think that I genuinely just love hockey players in books. I don't know how hockey players are in real life. I've never met a hockey player, but hockey players in books are like my favorite thing. They are my obsession. I think small town for like contemporary romance. I think small town, hockey, and then like billionaire, low-key, I guess, like small town billionaire. I don't know. Those have to be my like top 3 contemporary romance genres, and I'm not even counting dark romance in that. I freaking love hockey. I love hockey. These books make me want to go to a hockey game. Hayden is the main male character in this book, and Darcy is the main female character in this book. We've seen little glimpses of them throughout the Vancouver Storm series. This one, Hayden is the defenseman for the Vancouver Storm, and he is such a kind guy. He is so caring. He is kind of labeled as the playboy of the team, and it seems like he's been labeled that his entire life, of just being like this guy who sleeps around, doesn't get in relationships, doesn't want anything serious. And then he meets Darcy. He meets Darcy in their freshman year of college, I believe. They have the same class. They find that they like the same romance book series, which honestly makes me love Hayden even more. The fact that he is like a romantic-y kind of guy. They both find out that they love that, and they become best friends straight off bat. But then Darcy meets his best friend Kit, who is on a different team. I think Kit makes appearances in the other books as well, but I can't remember exactly which book. I can't remember if he like literally shows up day 1 Behind the Net, or if he shows up in the Fake Out. But Hayden is his best friend supposedly, and Darcy and Kit are together. They're together for a really long time. They break up. They were engaged and they broke off their engagement, and Darcy needed a place to stay. Hayden offered his place to her, so they're living together. And this is a very big best friends to lovers, slow burn type of thing. Darcy basically wants to learn how to be a playboy. She feels like she hasn't experienced dating or casual anything because she was with her ex for 8 years, and she enlists Hayden, the playboy, to help her. Not only that, he is her best friend, so she can trust him with teaching her these things. And yeah, the story develops from there. I think that Hayden is challenging himself a lot by helping Darcy, but I think he's also realizing how things really make him feel and how he doesn't fight for himself at all in regards to anything. He got labeled as this playboy and he just didn't challenge that at all. He was like, I guess that if that's how people see me, I guess that's like just what I'm gonna be. And Darcy, listen, I understand that feelings is, listen, I'm not the expert on how people feel, and I'm not the expert on reading people and how people are feeling, especially about me. But this girl, she is so clueless to any type of comment that Hayden makes. And I guess it's because their relationship has been a lot of jokey flirting, and he's just kind of a flirt. So I guess she doesn't take it seriously. But there are things that happen in here that I'm like, girl, come on. He clearly loves you. He clearly wants the best for you. You know what I mean? She was just really clueless. But I think that she was really like in a headspace to challenge herself and challenge like her comfort zone. And I think all of that mixed together made for like a very confusing time with them. I do think there was like a tiny bit of miscommunication in this book, which y'all know I hate. I hate miscommunication trope. I hate miscommunication just in general. But I think that they worked through it very flawlessly, if I do say so myself. I think that they both love each other just so much that they just didn't want to ruin that love of each other and that friend aspect to try something else. So I really, really did enjoy this. I did rate this 4 stars. I had a lot of fun. I think the next book is about Alexei, which is going to be really, really fun because he is a grumpy boy. He is a grumpy boy. So I'm really excited for that book. But 4 stars for The Wingman. I love hockey romance, especially Stephanie Archer books. Oh, sign me up. Sign me up. I feel like I say that a lot. Sign me up. I'm on a lot of sign up lists at this point if I keep saying sign me up. This next book is my first 5-star of the year. First 5-star of the year. And honestly, I'm not surprised by this. This series has just kind of like taken over my brain. Like, I have no thoughts, only this series. And the fact that this book, the last book in the series, is a 5-star does not shock me. And honestly, it was probably the best way that I could have, progressed in my reading for this year. But the next book I read was Business Casual by B.K. Borison. My God, this book, these main characters, I want to pull them out of the book and I want to meet them. I just want to meet them in real life because I feel like I would love both of them so much. This book, I need to reread this book because I don't know if you can see, it's really bright. I started tabbing here, like almost halfway through the book. I started tabbing because I was like, I can't just let these moments go untabbed. So now I have to reread it because there's a whole like 168 pages of untabbed book for this life that I went through, So I feel like I have to go back through the book and read it and tab more because what the frick, I loved this book. Charlie is probably one of my favorite main male characters ever. He is so fun. He is so caring about the people around him. He just wants to make sure that people are taken care of, and he just wants to make sure that people know that they're loved and that they have everything they could ever need or want. I just don't know how BK came up with this beautiful man that they came up with. I just don't get it. I just don't freaking get it. And Nova, wow, Nova is such a badass. She knows exactly what she wants in life, and she knows exactly what she wants from a partner. And Charlie was like the tsunami storm that just came rolling through her life that she didn't realize that she needed. He was just a whirlwind of a guy, and she didn't think anything of him until she was like, hey, maybe he's exactly what I need. And by God, did they find each other. I can't even. The way that the back kind of like stages this is that it's like rivals to lovers, but I don't think that that's the case. I think that I like to make up my own tropes. I feel like this is reluctant friends to lovers because Charlie has been obsessed with Nova since the first time he met her. Charlie is the brother of Stella, who owns the Christmas farm from Love Light Farms. She is the first character in the first books. He is her half brother, and he obviously comes to this town because Stella's there. And I feel like ever since he met Nova, he's just been obsessed with her. He's like, she is a challenge that I just want to face. And I don't care if I lose. I don't care if I win. I just want to be in her presence. And I feel like that is how Charlie feels about Nova so heavily. This series chemically altered me in a way that I don't think I'm ever going to be chemically altered again. And I'm not mad about it at all. I just can't even explain to you how much I love this book. They both have so much self-doubt about themselves, about what they're capable of, about what they deserve, and they both challenge those things together. It's like they never let the other one face the challenge by themselves. They're always there to support one another, and that is so nice. I just can't. Like, I feel like I'm not saying a lot, but I feel like I'm saying a lot, you know? This book is just so freaking good. This book is just so good. 5 stars. 5 freaking stars for Business Casual. B.K. Borson literally has done it again. I need to reread this entire series. I want to annotate this entire series. I just want to like live forever in this series. I don't know where this series is in the real world, but I just want to live here forever and ever and ever. Go freaking read the Love Light Farm series. If you haven't read that series yet, what are you doing? It doesn't have to be Christmas for you to start the first one. Just freaking start them. This one takes place in the fall time. It's winter right now. Go read the books, please. They're so good. I hope you guys can feel how much I love that series through your screen right now. Last book of February. This book, this universe, again, is such a good universe. This wasn't a 5-star for me, but my God, what a great book this was. I have so much fun with this series, truly. I read Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maher. I still don't know how to pronounce their last name, but I rated this book 4.5 stars. As you can see, I went a little crazy psycho with the tabs because I just knew that I was going to tab the absolute F out of this book, and I surely did. This book is the second book in the Assistant to the Villain series. This is book 2. I think this is only going to go to book 3. I honestly don't know. Book 3 comes out later this year, and honestly, I can't wait any longer for the third book. I'm going to need it to be sent to my door tomorrow. Hannah, if you're watching this, which I know you're not because I'm just a girl, I need the book, please. Tomorrow. I know that the one that is coming out is going to have emerald green sprayed edges, and I already pre-ordered that because I need it, because green, hello. But I'm going to need the book tomorrow. If that's possible, just, hit me up. It's fine, DMs are always open for you, my queen. I rated this one 4.5 stars. This is such a good continuation to what happens in Assistant to the Villain. I feel like Assistant to the Villain was a really good intro into this universe and Hannah's writing. I feel like Hannah is such a fun contemporary writer that still has those elements of a fantasy writer that keeps it within like I would not expect these people to exist in 2025. You know what I'm saying? But the way that they act and the way that they talk is so familiar in a way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I'm rhyming and when I rhyme, I can't think straight. So this is the continuation to Assistant to the Villain, where we follow Evie, who is just a normal girl who one day stumbles upon the villain of her realm. The villain is supposed to be one of the meanest, most cruel people in the kingdom. She stumbles upon him. His name is Tristan. You find out later in Assistant. His name is Tristan. She just stumbles upon him and he gives her a job. He's like, you know what? You need a job and I have a job for you. You could be my assistant. In the end of Assistant to the Villains, this is spoilers, by the way. I can't talk about a second book without there being spoilers. So In the second book, Tristan gets taken by King Benedict, who is the king of the kingdom. And this is where this book starts, is Evie trying to rescue Tristan. And a lot of shit happens. A lot of stuff happens. I'm not gonna talk about it because you guys need to experience it for yourself. But basically, this book is about Evie and Tristan trying to save the kingdom, which is really funny because he's the villain. But they frame it to be the most villainous thing that Tristan can do is take the kingdom from King Benedict, which is great. I love that for them. This is great. This really has turned out to be, which I always knew that Tristan would be the good guy, even if he calls himself the villain. He's not the villain at all. He is actually a really great guy, and I could tell this from the first book. But Evie is starting to realize how good of a guy he actually is and how much he actually cares and how much he actually loves. And I think that Evie is starting to challenge everything that she knew and everything that she accepted before, and is really starting to take what she wants and demand what she wants. And I think that that is something that is hard, not only for book characters, but for us. I think humans in general have a hard time sometimes being empathetic and being considerate of those around them, but also taking what they deserve. The progression of Evie in this book has been so refreshing and so heartwarming. I love her even more as a main female character. I think in the first book, I didn't love her as much just because she's kind of ditzy, but in a way, I understand her ditziness now. It's more of like a people-pleasing level of ditzy where she just pretends that everything's fine. She pretends that everything's okay, but in reality, she hates what's going on. So I definitely love her a lot more in this book. She's really starting to fight for herself and for the people that she loves. Tristan is also challenging the feelings of how he feels he should act as the villain, and instead he's becoming more of himself, I would say. He really doesn't want Evie or anybody that he loves to get hurt or to be in danger, and he demonstrates that a lot in this book. Even to a fault, he demonstrates that, but I think that he's really starting to challenge himself and what he deserves as a person, not only as the villain. So I really enjoyed this book. Clearly I really freaking enjoyed this book. I love this book. I love this universe. I can't wait for the third one. I hope that there's 20 more of these books because I never want to leave this universe. Kingsley, by the way, we stan Kingsley, my little guy up there. This book and Business Casual have been the highlight of my year so far, and I think that that's saying a lot because of the year that we're having. So that is going to be it for 4.5 stars. I think I said that already, but I like to reiterate. 4.5 for Apprentice to the Villain. I have a feeling that the next one, which is Accomplice to the Villain, that one's probably going to be a 5-star for me. So we shall see. That is going to be it for my January and February wrap up. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Please, again, let me know what you guys read the past couple months, what your favorite has been. If you're not subscribed, please feel free to subscribe. I'm trying to upload once a week reading vlogs, so a lot of these are going to be in reading vlogs, so you can experience the book as I'm reading it. Feel free to subscribe, leave me a like, leave me a comment, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye!